Welcome back. Today we're going to go over dot plot and frequency tables. So dot plot, basically there are two different view styles of what we're doing for data collection. And a dot plot is a visual display of data using the number line and dots to represent each data point. Now, previously, last week, I asked you guys to fill out a quick survey so I could get some information, and this was to help fill out the information here. So, surveying all of you guys, this is the information that you provided. And so, from there, it showed that we had from 0 screens to 10 screens in your home. The information that you guys provided is here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a number line, and then on that number line I just include all of the numbers between 0 and 10 because that's where the numbers that I used, and I do a dot plot. So there's one of you that has 0 screens at home, which yeah, that's according to the information that I was given. Then there's also for 1 screen, there was one individual that has 1 screen at their home, and then there is one individual that has 2 screens, and 3 and 4, and you'll notice that I'm putting a dot to represent that on every single one. And then as soon as I get to 7, because those are all ones, 7 has 6 people. So there was 6 people that have 7 screens in their home. And we can see that from our frequency here as well. The frequency is 6. So that means I'm going to go ahead and put 6 dots. And I put those 6 dots up here so that way I have that information. Okay, in addition to that, I go to the next one, and there's only one, and then 9 has 8 dots, has a frequency of 8. So I go ahead and put 8 of them. And then 10 has a frequency of 10. There were 10 of you that had 10 screens in your home. And we can see that our data, now visually, without looking at the table of information, we can tell visually that there's a lot of people that have 7 or more screens in their home. And if we were to look at this one, we could say whether it was skewed right, skewed left, or symmetrical. But we were just supposed to visualize the data. So that's all we have to do on that step. Okay, so with that one, we use the dot plot to answer the questions below. So here we have this dot plot, and it says the Ecological Society sampled the green iguana population and made note of the length of each iguana sampled. The data is displayed in a dot plot below. So this data here, it's the length of the green iguana. So we have 11 to 19, and that's the number of inches. So 11 inches to 19 inches long. How many iguanas measured greater than 15 inches? So greater than 15 inches means that I have to go from 15, and I can't count those ones because those ones are 15. It has to be greater than that. So then I would count. We have 3, 2 is 5, 2 is 7, and that would make that 8. So I would have 8 iguanas that measured greater than 15. Now B, what's the most common length of an iguana? Well, the most common length we can tell here, the one that occurs most, or the mode, would be the most common, but it looks like 14 has 3 and 16 has 3. So if I were to say that, I would say 14 and 16 inches are the most common lengths. And then last but not least, how many iguanas measure between 14 and 18 inches long? So that's again between 14 and 18. So I'm going to count up those spaces between them, and that would give me 7 total. So if you have a tough time knowing how to count that again, you don't count 14 or 18 because it's between them. So we would count 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 2 is 7. All right, next question. Before we can answer this one though, we have to know what a frequency table is. A frequency table is a simple way to display how often something happens. Typically, a frequency table is used to organize data. So with a frequency table, for me, it's much easier to see in a frequency table than it is with like a dot plot, just because I like how the table looks. But the first few steps that we do is we take the information that we have here and we need to reorganize it in this table. But first off, the quiz grades show or below show. Reading today, so tough. The quiz grades below represent the students in Mr. Avery's history class. So here are these quiz grades, and we don't want to do any repeats because this table of information is just information without repeats. So I'm going to go in numerical order and I'm going to find the smallest number, which the smallest number here is 70. So then I would go ahead and put the grade of 70. The next smallest number was 75, and then the next smallest number is 80, and then 85, and then 90, and then 95. So I have all that information there, and now I start tallying it. So from 70, I go through this information, and I look for 70s. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3. So then I would put 3 tally marks, and then from that one, I could then say, hey, that has a frequency of 3 because there was 3 of them. Then I do the same thing for 75. I work through here. There's a 75. So 1, 2. And I would go ahead and mark 2 there. And then that has a frequency of 2. Now you should notice that these tally marks and the frequency number, they should be identical. These tally marks are a way to keep it organized, especially when you have, say, 50 or 60 data points. It's going to be really hard to keep track of them by counting without doing some type of marking system. And so this is a great way to be able to mark the data and cross it off. Now, if I were doing this with pencil and paper, I would go through here and there would be a slash through those 70s, so I wouldn't look at them again. There would be a slash through the 75s, so I wouldn't look at them again. And then I could go straight to the 80s and 85s and so forth. So I'll do that. So there's 180, so I'm going to go ahead and put 1. And 85s, it looks like there are 3 85s, so I'll go ahead and put 3. And then 90s, is there any 90s here? There are not. But you'll notice that this is increasing at the same interval, adding 5 each time. So that one for 90 has a frequency of 0. There is 0 that happened at 90, but then at 95 we did have 1. So we would go ahead and put a frequency of 1. All right, so try this one before I start. Go ahead and pause it if you can. Well, not if you can, but go ahead and pause it and try it. See if you can do it on your own. All right, hopefully you did pause it. But on number 4, what I would do is I'd again go through the information, and it says these amounts they represent the number of dollars spent on a birthday present. So how many dollars are spent on a present? I would go ahead first by organizing the data, and I would go ahead and organize it in numerical order. So I'm going to start with 15, and I'll do this one slightly different to where I'm just going to do each line. So 15, there are 2 15s, so I mark a frequency of 2. Then I go on to the next one. The next one looks like there's 20, and there are 2 20s. So I'm going to go ahead and put 20, 2 tally marks, and then a frequency of 2. And then the next number in line would be 25. There are, 125. So I'd put a tally mark of 1 and a frequency of 1. And then, last but not least, 30. There are 3 30s. So I would go ahead and put 30, 3 tally marks, and then 3. Okay, hopefully you tried that on your own, like I said. And last but not least, we have number 5. We're going to use the dot plot below to answer the questions. The dot plot represents the energy efficiency rating of homes in a community. Basically, what that means is the more efficient a home is, the cheaper it is to pay for the bills and everything. Like you have, like you're not losing a lot of energy or you're not wasting energy. So if you have really old windows, it's not going to be very energy efficient, because it's going to let a lot of heat or cool out through those windows. But yeah, so just so you know, the energy efficiency rating, it has a lot more to it than what I've explained, but that's just the general gist. It helps if you have a higher efficiency rating. That means your home keeps energy in it better. Yeah. All right. So with that one, determine if the following statements are true or false. Blank, a total of 18 homes were rated. Well, we can tell if a total of 18 homes were rated because we can count them. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it says a total of 18. That is false. There's actually 20 homes that were rated. And then the next one, exactly half of the ratings were greater than 66. So greater than 66, if they have to be exactly half, that means there has to be 10 here because there was 20 that received ratings. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I would say that's definitely true. And then the most common rating was 66. And if we look at this one, is this one the mode? Is that one that occurred most? And that's actually, no, it's not. 68 is the one that occurred most, so that would be false. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and pause and see if you can answer these ones before I finish it up. Okay, B, complete the blanks below in order to make each statement true. The number of homes rated 58 to 64 accounts for exactly blank of the homes. So if I go through rated 58 to 64, so 58 to 64, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to know what is the ratings of those ones. Well, if I look at that one, that's actually 30%. And how I got that is I would take the number that we had there, which was 6, and we're dividing it by 20. And 6 divided by 20 will give us 30%. Okay, the number of homes rated greater than 70 accounts for about blank of the homes. Well, greater than 70, there's only 3 of them. So that means I'm going to have 3 out of 20, and that's going to give me 15%. 3 divided by 20 will give me 0.15, which is 15%. And then it says 50% of the homes were rated a score less than blank. Well, we already know that 50%, this one right here tells us exactly half of the ratings were greater than 66. Well, if this right here is half of it, then it has to be less than the 68, because if it's less than 68, that would be the other half of the data. So I'm going to go ahead and put less than 68. All right, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope you guys are staying happy, healthy, and safe. Have a great day.